Ark Raiders, a multiplayer extraction adventure game where most of humanity shelters underground. But raiders rise to the surface in search of something greater. In the Rust Belt, danger isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of the adventure. Every journey above ground is a gamble against the relentless machines of Ark and rival raiders chasing the same dream. Explore a lethal yet vibrant world scarred by old conflicts and reclaimed by nature, where shifting conditions make every high-stakes run unpredictable. Ark Raiders. Available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC. Rated T for Teen.
I'm Tad Flaky.
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
And this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, a solid gold toilet is headed for an auction. Your chance to put your money where your mouth should never go.
Then there's a new mayor in a Canadian town, and it's a cat.
And next, I'll tell you about some very expensive coffee that comes from the butt of a weasel. That story is coming up later, but first, he's got the Midas flush. Art world troll Maurizio Catalan took the world by storm after his notorious duct tape banana sold for over $6 million at Sotheby's last fall. This year, the Italian prankster will likely turn crap into gold when his notorious 18-karat solid gold toilet goes under the hammer. Carved out of a staggering 223 pounds of gold, the ritzy commode will hit the Gotham auction houses the Now and Contemporary evening sale on November 18th, so you have a little time to get there if you want. The opening bid will begin at a staggering $10 million, according to current prices for the precious metal, but Sotheby's believes it will fetch much more than that. Starting this Saturday, November 8th, visitors will be able to visit the Golden Throne, which will be installed in a bathroom in the Brewer Building at Sotheby's new headquarters in New York City. Visitors are reminded to look, but don't flush, however. While this blinged-out bowl is actually functional, and users have been invited to relieve themselves in this gaudy potty in the past, there will be no sitting upon the throne this time around. Catalan originally devised the paradoxical work as a form of social commentary, labeling it, quote, America, to highlight the absurdity of which spots in a museum get deemed sacred versus profane. He said he wanted to put out something that was priceless in the least noble and most necessary place, thereby bridging the gap between high form and base function. The first iteration of the golden toilet was installed in New York's Guggenheim Museum back in 2016, where it made a major splash with critics comparing the exorbitant John to Dada visionary Marcel Duchamp's 1917 porcelain urinal called Fountain. Meanwhile, a whopping 100,000 visitors lined up to see and use Catalan's commode. Among those visitors were former New York Post contributor Chris Perez, who described the experience as, quote, one of the smoothest, most luxurious feelings I have ever experienced in my life. Watching the water swirl down the gilded bowl was hands down the most satisfying part of the whole experience.
Well, I think there is a good chance that Donald Trump would be bidding on this and putting it in his new air quote ballroom. He'll have a secret little toilet for himself.
And he'll probably charge for it, too.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Our tax dollars at work. Well, it began as most Canadian scandals do, with a bake sale and good intentions. The Lillian Aubon Animal Shelter announced a lighthearted contest to elect the first ever pet mayor of Amherst, a fundraiser meant to raise a few dollars and possibly some awareness. But by week's end, Amherst's plan to elect a pet mayor had become a full-blown constitutional crisis involving 2 Labradors, 1 shredded ballot box, and a raccoon acting as interim ethics commissioner. What began as a wholesome attempt to raise money for strays devolved into the kind of small-town nightmare that makes Canadian national news. It started with hope treats, and tiny campaign hats. It ended with mud, barking, and a town clerk whispering, "We should have just done a bake sale." Things got ugly fast, said election coordinator Lori O'Connell. We thought it'd be cute. Next thing we knew, we had smear campaigns, hack treat dispensers, and one Labrador openly lobbying foreign squirrels. The race began with 10 contenders, 9 dogs and 1 cat, a demographic ratio described by analysts as identical to Parliament, except with fewer accidents on the floor. They came from across the land, hounds of purpose, mutts of destiny, and one cat whose eyes said, "I will burn your system from within, just like every cat." Her campaign slogan, witnesses say, was purring softly under her breath while maintaining direct eye contact with the nearest authority figure. Each platform mirrored national politics. Half promised parks, half promised jobs. Frontrunner Nova branded himself as Fetch Master of Amherst, promising fiscal responsibility and tennis balls for all. His slogan, "Every citizen deserves a good walk," was printed on campaign bandanas, distributed door to door by volunteers, some of whom were later disqualified for excessive drooling. The lone feline, Meowstache, ran on a platform of quiet dignity and absolute contempt. She rarely appeared in public, preferring to campaign via ominous staring from windowsills and cryptic posts on social media, reading only, "Soon." Meanwhile, whispers of foreign interference rocked the race after several suspicious votes were traced to IP addresses in Moncton. Classic outside influence, mustered one pundit. You let New Brunswick in once, they never leave. The official debate, held at the Amherst Dog Park and moderated by a local groomer, descended into chaos after the first softball question. What would you do to improve access to treats? Nova barked through his answer. Derby immediately chased the microphone, and Meowstache vanished under the bleachers. The debate ended abruptly when the candidates refused to yield the floor, technically stop rolling on it. When the moderator tried to restore order by throwing a tennis ball, half the candidates bolted after it. The other half peed on the stage, which was an improvement over the regular provincial debates, according to one voter. By Friday, tensions were high, and polling stations smelled faintly of bacon. At the ballot boxes, children laughed, dogs barked, and one volunteer stared into the middle distance, whispering, "This is how Rome fell." But just as victory seemed certain for Nova, reports surfaced of improperly counted ballots hidden beneath the community hydrant. Witnesses described a furious recount effort led by Derby supporters chanting, "Stop the steal! Sit! Stay!" The recount got messy fast. Too many paws on the paperwork, not enough supervision, and everyone sniffing around someone else's box. By the time they got it sorted, half the candidates had mounted legal challenges, and the rest were just mounting each other. Officials tried to restore order, but once the licking started, nobody could tell who was vetting whom or who was just saying hi. Through it all, Meowstache sat motionless atop a filing cabinet, watching the chaos unfold like a Bond villain who'd already won. When the final totals came in, Meowstache emerged, victorious by 3 votes. "Honestly," said one resident, "it's the most Canadian thing ever, a scandal with manners." Now, anyone should know that the cat was going to win in the end. They sit back, they plot, they play a long game.
Even in Canada.
Even in Canada.
Where they supposedly are so good and so well-mannered. And
they are.
Good behavior. No, not for them. The cats have a mind of their own.
They sure do.
It doesn't matter where on the globe they might be.
But this election certainly seems more put together and more believable than all the rhetoric Donald Trump was spouting about stolen elections.
It wasn't a catastrophe.
No, but we ended up with a dog in the White House, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. So much for puns for today. Finally, a new study confirms what connoisseurs of expensive nonsense have suspected. Coffee tastes better after being eaten, digested, and excreted by a small nocturnal mammal that doesn't know it's in the luxury goods business. Markets responded by pretending this was somehow fine. Researchers at Central University of Kerala in India analyzed the chemical profile of coffee beans that were retrieved from the feces of the Asian palm civet, a cat-like creature that resembles a weasel, and found that the bean's flavor improved after passing through what scientists politely refer to as the fermentation artisanal tract. And we all know what that is, don't we? Lead zoologist Ramit Mitra explained that civet digestion increases fat content and produces compounds with dairy-like notes, which is chemistry speak for we licked it and somehow it worked. The same process also reduces bitterness, caffeine, and dignity. These findings represent a breakthrough in sustainable fermentation, said the report, adding quietly, and an absolute collapse in human ethical standards. The beans, which sell for up to $1,300 per pound, are gathered from civet droppings by workers who, according to the study, maintain a safe distance during collection. They probably also question their choice of a career. The researchers plan to continue their work by exploring whether flavor enhancement also occurs in other mammals, provided ethics boards stop laughing hysterically. Meanwhile, Starbucks executives have declined to comment on rumors of a forthcoming grande crappuccino.
Ted, would you try this? You know, I'm not a coffee drinker, so
No.
I would not.
No.
Okay.
Never in a million years. Oh, man. I guess some people might be willing to try it because they're really into the taste, but not me. That's going to be a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flaky.
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
Stay pointless, my friend.